But for the most part, as an MTM pharmacist, I sit on the computer all day. Have to remind myself to drink water, remind myself to get up and walk around so that I'm not in this sedentary lifestyle habits. Or I hear from outside, see the beautiful sun outside, and hear the laughter of children after they get home from work. But I'm still sitting here in my office on the computer. Hey, it's Dr. Cherokee, and this is part 2 of my What Does an MTM Pharmacist Actually Do video. If you missed part 1, make sure you go into my Managed Care Pharmacy playlist, find that one and watch it first, and then come back and watch this one. So in the last, in part 1, we talked more about what I'm actually doing while I'm on the phones, calling patients, what I'm talking to them about, and kind of what that complete medication review looks like at the end of the day. And so that is just kind of one part of what I do as an MTM pharmacist. Now it's a huge part, it's a big part, a main part, but there are other stuff that I do on a daily basis. So I'll get into that. But one, the long, complete medication reviews are not the only thing that I'm doing when I'm on the phone. Sometimes I have TMRs or targeted medication reviews, and other times it's just medication reconciliations. So sometimes we have a specific campaign or a group of patients that we're trying to reach out to, who we're specifically reaching out to because they've recently been in the hospital. We want to get them on the phone when they leave the hospital so we can catch any interactions or duplicates that they may have occurred while they were in the hospital. That's like one type. There's also another camp of like targeted reviews that's more like helpful for the plan. So say a patient is trying to or fills a prescription for a drug that's not on their formulary. So we kind of do courtesy calls and let them know, hey, we let it go this time, but next time it won't go through. You know, talk to your doctor about the different alternatives. Here are the alternatives. Those are the kind of calls that sometimes make me feel like a bad guy, but I digress. There's also calls about adherence. So if we notice that there's a big gaps or past gaps in certain medications that are looked at very heavily by Medicare services and things like that, such as statins or ACE ARBs for blood pressure, we'll call them and kind of see what's going on and talk to them as well. So those are other types of calls that I make as a MTM pharmacist. Another thing is that my job as an MTM pharmacist is pretty heavily productivity based. If you think about it, we are charged as health plans, or the health plans are charged with reaching like ridiculous amount of their members, like 98% of their members, in order to qualify to get their higher star ratings. So if you can imagine that kind of pressure to make sure that we're getting the most people on the phone, getting the most reviews submitted, filters down to us as pharmacists. And so we have hefty productivity measurements to make. Some companies will measure productivity in number of calls per day, or number of completed reviews per day, number of completed calls per week, or something like that. My job does not do that. My job measures from number of minutes logged, so activity points for certain things, and that means that one activity or one medication review only counts for 45 minutes. And if you did longer than that, too bad, so sad. So there's different ways to measure productivity, but that's a part of kind of the daily grind of being an MTM pharmacist. Another thing is that, you know, occasionally, since we are talking to patients real time, year to year, there are a lot of new things that come out, a lot of new guidelines that come out. And if we're analyzing their medication therapy, then we kind of have to be abreast of all the new information. So we do have the occasional clinical roundtables, the meetings, the corporate, department meetings and things like that that we can kind of get out of workflow for. So it kind of breaks up the monotony of the calling and the day-to-day tasks of MTM pharmacy. So we do have that, Zoom webinars and things like that. Another part that I love about being an MTM pharmacist is I work remotely, of course. So, I'm working with people in Texas, California, Arizona, Colorado, and so we're all over the place, but we love our chats. And it's a great thing to have colleagues like just talk to throughout the day. I have my OG, my homies from onboarding times and things like that. So I'm also, as I'm doing calls, I'm also like chatting and sending gifs and, you know, kind of messaging my friends throughout the day. But besides that, I mean, as I said in my other video, there's so much reward that comes with being an MTM pharmacist. I honestly don't think I would trade it for anything as of now, except for maybe spending more time with my daughter and my family. But as of right now, I really love what I'm doing, and I love the impact that I can make on people, and the impact I can make on health plans that, you know, help people. I no longer feel like I'm working for the bad guys. It's just another part of healthcare. It's different from what we may have known in pharmacy school or being taught about pharmacists do. I'm constantly trying to explain my job to people, and they're like, oh, okay, I didn't know pharmacists do that. Didn't know you could work from home as a pharmacist. I say, yeah. So thank you for watching. If you're interested in learning more about different kinds of managed care pharmacy roles, you can definitely check out the videos in my managed care pharmacy playlist, and I'll link it somewhere. But thank you for watching this one. And if you have more questions, go ahead and comment. I'll answer you. You can also find me on social media at Dr. Cherokee or dr.cherokee. I love hearing from you. But otherwise, thank you so much. And sincerely, Dr. Cherokee. Peace. Be blessed.